In England's finest hours, these were their kings and queens. In some cases figuratively, in some cases literally.
So to have someone like the Queen of England, which is a sister country to us, we feel very a close bond to England.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 iconic Brits.
Stop right now, thank you very much. I need somebody with a human touch.
For this list, we are excluding those celebrities associated with America more than Britain. So, very sorry to all you Charlie Chaplin fans. Also, we are solely including celebrities born in England, and not those from Scotland, Wales, or Ireland. Number 10. Charles Dickens.
Oliver? Do you know this here voice, Oliver?
Considered the greatest Victorian novelist ever, this writer and critic of 19th century England wrote of the country's best of times and its worst of times, often commenting on the social ills that were occurring around him, including poverty, prejudice, hypocrisy, and more. Dickens used his experiences to craft some of the most beloved, known, and timeless characters in all of literature.
And therefore, I am about to raise your salary. Merry Christmas to you, Bob.
Known as well today as he was in his own time, Dickens and his legacy as an icon in British prose will continue to live on thanks to pieces of writing like Great Expectations, A Christmas Carol, A Tale of Two Cities, and Oliver Twist.
So if someone says, "Stop being such a Scrooge," we don't have to have read Dickens' Christmas Carol to know precisely what that person is telling us.
Number 9. Richard Branson.
I've done foolish things like trying to fly around the world in balloons.
British business tycoon and self-made billionaire Richard Branson is founder of Virgin Group, a multinational made up of over 400 different affiliate companies, including subsidiaries in the airline, railway, and mobile phone spaces, as well as commercial space travel. But it all started in the late 1960s with his record business. And by the next decade, Branson really began to amass his fortune with the Virgin Records record label.
Further tussles with the police as God Save the Queen was launched cemented Virgin's reputation as creative disruptors. This culture of tearing up the rule book had spread throughout the company.
Thanks to Branson's pioneering vision and boyish charm, the brand eventually represented many groundbreaking acts and made Branson one of the UK's 10 richest citizens.
If you're successful in life, enormous wealth can go with that success. If you have enormous wealth, then enormous responsibility goes with it too.
Number 8. Charles Darwin.
Charles Darwin set off on a fateful voyage that would revolutionize our understanding of life's great diversity.
Survival of the fittest is the game of life. So it's no surprise that Charles Darwin's theory of evolution propelled him onto our list. His work on the origin of species proposed that all species of life descended over time from common ancestors.
Originally, there must have been just one type of finch in the Galapagos. But over time, it had diversified into many kinds.
Not only has this naturalist helped the world's understanding of natural sciences evolve, he also revolutionized how humans think of their place in the universe and history.
It might have been an absolute prerequisite for us landing where we are today.
All of this has easily made him one of history's most revolutionary scientists, as well as one of the most famous Englishmen.
The scientists who carry on his legacy have advanced his work in wondrous ways.
Number 7. Margaret Thatcher.
The ladies not for turning.
This Conservative Party leader was the longest-serving Prime Minister of the 20th century and is the only woman to have held Britain's highest political office.
That way you will never create the wealth for better social services as we have. And what a policy!
Uncompromising, ferocious, and cunning, Thatcher was not only an icon in British history, but also of conservative thought, with her right-wing policies earning her adoration from the right and disapproval from the left, especially when she cut funding to social programs, diminished the power of the unions, and privatized certain state-owned companies. However, regardless of your stance on her politics, it's difficult to deny the impact this Iron Lady had on 20th century Britain.
Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope.
Number 6. Sir Isaac Newton.
But then he had this enormous capacity to hyper-focus, enormous capacity to ask fundamental questions, and the ability to do experiments and to persist with a question.
Known as the father of modern science and a significant figure in the scientific revolution, this natural philosopher was a physicist and mathematician, best known for his earth-shattering revelations in optics.
And he designed a remarkably and radically different kind of telescope from anything that had been built before.
Calculus, the laws of motion, and famously, universal gravitation.
Bang! He suddenly has the idea that's the same thing that's making the apple fall as what's holding the moon in its orbit.
Another man who's considered a key figure in science history, his book, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, has proved invaluable to the scientific world.
Ultimately, I think people rightly look back to Newton's Principia Mathematica as the foundation of modern science.
In fact, without him, Europe may never have undergone the scientific revolution it so desperately needed. And the phrase, "what goes up must come down," may never have even been proven true.
He was buried among kings and queens in Westminster Abbey, beneath a monument to his scientific achievements.
Number 5. Queen Elizabeth II.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.
Head of the Commonwealth beginning with her ascension to the throne in 1952, Elizabeth oversaw numerous significant changes throughout her tenure.
She very much leaves the family to go off and find their own way. If you get it wrong, stand by. You'll be put back in your place.
Through generations of anti-monarchist sentiment, she deserves credit for maintaining the British monarchy's overall support. Celebrating her Diamond Jubilee in 2012, Her Majesty became the oldest reigning monarch in the world, as well as Britain's longest-served monarch. And though the public isn't privy to the inner workings of her personality, she is still one of the most recognizable and known Brits ever. Long live the Queen.
In tomorrow's world, we must all work together as hard as ever if we are truly to be United Nations.
Number 4. Diana, Princess of Wales.
And if you asked a little girl to draw a princess, I think she'd draw a dress just like that. With tiny bodies, tiny waist, and a great big skirt.
Married to the Prince of Wales in 1981, in one of the most lavish and most watched television events in history, Diana became one of the first accessible members of the royal family. Labeled by some as the world's most photographed woman,
she couldn't move anywhere without a lens within feet of her face.
Diana was charismatic, kind-hearted, and elegant, all of which made her the focus of intense media scrutiny across the globe.
Princess Diana met children with kidney failure who are dependent on machines.
Although that interest ultimately contributed to her untimely death, she left behind a legacy of compassion and contributions to humanitarian aid efforts, combating landmines, homelessness, and HIV/AIDS. She truly was the people's princess.
I think the biggest disease this world suffers from in this day and age is the disease of people feeling unloved. And I know that I can give love for a minute, for half an hour, for a day, for a month, but I can give, and I'm very happy to do that, and I want to do that.
Number 3. William Shakespeare.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
The Bard of Avon. Perhaps no other Briton shaped the English language and culture as significantly as Shakespeare. Contributing thousands of new words to the English language, the legendary poet, playwright, and actor scribed roughly 38 plays and 154 sonnets.
Are there no stones in heaven but what serve for the thunder? Precious villain!
His tales remain relevant to this day, as they not only impacted English society, but also reveal the timeless and universal condition of mankind and its folly. Something which speaks not only to British culture, but which translates to all languages and cultures. As Victor Hugo once said, England has two books, the Bible and Shakespeare.
That English may as French, French Englishmen receive each other. God speak this. Amen.
Number 2, the Beatles.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Change a sad song and make it better.
The British invasion made many musicians world famous, and while Mick Jagger and his fellow Rolling Stones are absolute British icons, no act sold more records, earned more number ones, and elicited more teenage screams than the Beatles.
I am the Eggman. They are the Eggman. I am the walrus.
These four mop-topped boys from Liverpool hold numerous records and honors, not the least of which is the unofficial title of most influential band in the world ever.
All you need is love.
Together as the Fab Four, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr changed the face of music forever, helping to bring rock and roll to the mainstream, and becoming the best-selling band in history in the process. Before we crown our top pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Yes, but the most important thing is that I am a Puritan and I am a believer in the visual. And that's what I think that schools should teach.
Nothing really matters to me.
Mr. Pewdie, the very real problem is what it matters. I'm afraid that the Ministry of Civil is no longer getting the kind of support.
There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds.
Henry VIII, the tyrant king.
He was brutal, he was ruthless, he was probably the most selfish king we've ever had.
She produced fiction which had a sort of a self-possession and a technical audacity which was unparalleled anywhere else in Europe.
Number 1, Sir Winston Churchill.
This is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the end of the beginning.
Our top spot goes to the British Bulldog himself. An officer in the British Army, a career politician, historian, and a Nobel Prize-winning author, Churchill aided in the defeat of Hitler during World War II.
We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall never surrender.
Helped popularize the peace sign, or in his case, the V for victory sign, and was named Time Magazine's Man of the Year in 1940 and their Man of the Half Century in 1949.
I think he always felt he would win.
Though still a flawed hero, this wartime prime minister was considered one of the best orators in modern times, and one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century.
That in the days to come, the British and American peoples will, for their own safety and for the good of all, walk together in majesty, in justice, and in peace.
Do you agree with our list?
I don't really think so.
Which Brit do you think is the most iconic?
Like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds.
For more jolly good top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Until then, from all of the BBC team at Buckingham Palace, thank you for watching and good night.